Friends and students, today we are going to discuss about a new topic which is very important, but it is very neglected one too. It is about terminal oxidation or oxidative phosphorylation, or we can say electron transport system that occurs in the mitochondria. Here is the mitochondrial F0 F1 particle, as here you can see the head region, and which is called F1 region, and then there lies the stalk region called the F0 region. Now in respiration, as we all know, there are three steps. The three steps are glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport system. By the end of Krebs cycle, glucose is completely oxidized, but it is not used since the energy is trapped in NADH2 and FADH2. That means NADH2 and FADH2 has to be oxidized in order to release the ATP. That release is done in the mitochondria. So ATP is produced here. When is the ATP produced here? ATP is produced when NADPH2 and FADH2 are completely oxidized to NADP plus and FADP. Now, this electron transport system occurs in the mitochondria, in the inner mitochondrial membrane, where there are some proteins that will act as the electron carriers. And these electron carriers, electron transport system, or the electron carriers, they are the acceptors of the protons, and thus helps in the oxidation of NADPH2 and FADH2. NADPH2 and FADH2 are oxidized to produce NAD plus and FAD plus, and this process is known as oxidative phosphorylation. As you all know, phosphorylation is the process which is the process of formation of ATP. Here also ATP is produced, but it is produced when NADH2 and FADH2 are oxidized. Now, as I told you that there are series of electron carriers. There are 5 major electron carriers. These carriers are flavins, non-iron sulfur complexes, quinones, and cytochromes. Now, there are 5 complexes. What are those complexes? Complex 1 is NADH dehydrogenase. It is the complex 1 that oxidizes NADH2 in the mitochondrial matrix, and then the electrons from NADH2 is then transferred to ubiquinone, another complex. From one side, it is receiving electron from NADH2 via NADH dehydrogenase, which is complex 1, and from the other side, ubiquinone also receives electron from FADH2 that is produced by the oxidation of succinate dehydrogenase. Succinate dehydrogenase is also an enzyme which is called complex 2. So complex 1, remember, is NADH dehydrogenase that helps in the oxidation of NADH2, and complex 2 is another enzyme called succinate dehydrogenase which helps in the oxidation of succinate by the formation of FADH2, and later FADH2 becomes oxidized, and that electrons and then pass to the ubiquinone. Now the ubiquinone gets reduced from both sides. From both sides it is receiving electrons. Now this ubiquinone which is reduced now is oxidized. How? Now it transfers the electron to cytochrome C, but not directly, but through cytochrome BC1. So ubiquinone which got reduced by NADH dehydrogenase and succinate dehydrogenase now transfers electron to cytochrome C. But before cytochrome C, it first transfers electron to cytochrome BC1. Then there is another transfer of electron from cytochrome BC1 to another complex 4 called cytochrome C oxidase. And from cytochrome C oxidase, which also has copper in it, electrons will pass to the last acceptor, that is ATP synthase, which is the complex 5. And in the ATP synthase, ATP is produced from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Thus, we can say oxidation of one molecule of NADH2 gives 3 ATP and oxidation of 2 molecules of FADH2 gives 2 ATP. Now, these transfer of electron helps to build an electron gradient and also the difference in proton concentration inside the mitochondrial membrane called proton gradient. Here you can see this is the F1, F0 particle of the mitochondrial tennis racket-like structure, and when protons from outer side enters in the inner side through this head region, 2 proton from outside enters into the inner side through head region. ADP combines with inorganic phosphate to form ATP. This way ATP is produced by the transfer of proton from outside to inside. Now this is all about electron transport system, and lastly we can say that the electrons are lastly transferred to half O2, and along with 2 proton it is converted to water. Lastly, water is produced when half O2 combines with 2 hydrogen or proton to form water. Please see the video if you like, and if it is clear then press the click button. Thank you.